Hello everyone and welcome back to Steel Division 2. Today with Protossocker's tier list. If you don't know him, he has his YouTube channel called Simulated League Division. He does Twitch streaming as well, and he's pretty knowledgeable on the game. He's been in for a very long time. So let's take a look at his first choice here, which is the American Second Indian Head. So, as you can see here, Mr. Rooster already gave us a good information sheet about the second Indian Head. So basically, they have excellent infantry with their elite ranger marauders armed with bazookas for ambushing, and they are recon unit, so that is always good. And pretty much all of their infantry tab as well are pretty good with the M1 Garand backed up by the Rangers. So already infantry wise, you do have an advantage over other divisions. Their tanks is not super great, but it is good for infantry support. They got decent support with the option of crocodiles. Their 57mm M1s are good, although I would suggest to use them in ambush position. I mean, they can destroy frontally medium tank, that's for sure, but still better to use them in ambush position, as they could be killed off before they kill their target, even so with medium tanks. So as you say, they do like the APCR. They do have speedy Hellcats. Even though the Hellcats have been nerfed, they are still very good and very fast. So always a good pick. They do have M10 tank destroyers as well, that I would suggest you double vet them and use them the same as you would use the Hellcat. Shoot and scoot. Then we have the 40mm Bofors Hey, which is, it doesn't say much about them, but they are actually one of the best anti-aircraft for the Allies, at least in my opinion. You double vet them, well, I mean, up vet them from 1 star, and with a leader double vet them, and they can absolutely kill everything. Then strong artillery with plenty of options, most with radios plus the 203mm off map. So very good there. Half-track radio, half-track mortars with radio is it's a killer. You have to take them. Rugged fighter bombers in the form of P-47 Thunderbolts. So the P-47 Thunderbolts, while they are very good planes, they are very expensive. So you gotta be careful with the second Indian Head in not overspending in planes. And if you do, don't take the fighters. Just take the fighter bombers. And if you need fighters, then fight it off with the fighter bombers, but try to just let your Bofors do the killing. So that was it for the second Indian Head. We're gonna go to number 2, Task Force 45. Alright, so thanks again to Rooster for the information. Task Force 45 has lots of recon options and good ones at that. So in the deployment, you can use these to actually attack and hold the flag while your infantry comes in, and they will do a damn good job at that. The disheartened converted gunners, they're good fighters with 15 men and Garands, and I do believe they do come in slower vehicles. Can't remember that much. But either way, just use your recon options to hold the flags while the converted gunners come. Converted gunners are much like the Mustad of the 7th Estonian. They're disheartened, yes, but they are very good. Converted gunners can shoot at medium range, whereas the Mustad of the 7th Estonian will shoot at, they will excel at shorter range. But anyway, this is not the 7th. In terms of tanks, they have cheap Shermans and a few Stuarts. So that means the Stuarts, if you use them in deployment, again, along with the converted gunners, you're going to be doing a killing there. Demoralized 50 caliber is the cheapest in the game. And while you do have other classic options, as he says, these machine guns, I think they come in numbers of 8 per card, so you got 8 of them in phase A. It's very good. What else here? Oh, and they're 50 cal, so they will destroy, they will pin down actually they will fall back enemy vehicles recon vehicle, um, like the Germans one. If the Germans rush you with these and you do have a lot of 50 caliber machine guns, you'll be able to actually hold your ground. So that's always a plus in my book anyway. With no AT guns or bazookas before B phase, Task Force 45 has to make do with a large amount of strong M10 tank destroyers. Up vet these guys, because if you don't, they'll miss their mark and they'll actually shoot the target by the second or third shot, which is pretty bad for a tank destroyer that relies on shoot and scoot tactic. The M10 destroyers are not really strong, so you really want to go up vet them. Now, the biggest AA tab for the Allies, Task Force 45, got a large amount of Bofors and even 90mm flak. 90mm flak is very good. I think they are disheartened in this deck, but either way, they're very good. It's safe to go for to use them as tank killers. Whereas, the 88mm, for me, I wouldn't use them for killing tanks, more for AA suppression of bombers. But anyway, yeah, personal choice here. So with a heavy phase lock, the RT tab still features everything from mortars to super heavy howitzers, so all good there. It got a quite decent air tab with P-47 napalm and a large amount of Mitchell bombers. Now let's pause here on the P-47 napalm bombers. You might not think much of them, just another napalm bomber, right? But they are not. I swear to God, guys, you have to take them and kill tanks with these guys. These guys are so powerful. The first time I've used this deck and with these planes, I was left shocked, flabbergasted. I just couldn't believe my eyes, because I threw them on tanks and they would just snap, destroy tanks one after the other. So use them. There's 2 cards of them. Go for 1 card in phase B, 1 card in C phase. You'll have plenty of them and it will just be a massacre. Alright, so that's it for Task Force 45. Now in third position we have the 8 Indian. The 8 Indian has excellent recon tab with 4-man sniper squad and few decent fire support vehicles. Now I didn't play them often, so I can't remember the support vehicles, but the 4-man sniper squad is always a must. Take them in phase A, possibly, ideally during the deployment, and you just fuck around with your enemy a little bit with that. Then, the classic Commonwealth division, they lack chunky CQC squad, though Gurkhas compensate. So basically what that means is you want to use the 8 Indian in medium to long range, because you're not going to go into the forest with that. Like, if you pick the map Cell, you're pretty much fucked, unless you got better skills than your opponent. But try to use your infantry for medium range at the very least. The Shermans, not much else to say, and yet they have a better vet curve in A. So Shermans, take them with veterancy, but then again, it's the same old. And we kind of see a pattern here where Sherman divisions are excelling right now. It's because the meta is geared toward infantry. So the more infantry you have, the better your chance at winning. So that means if you can properly support your infantry, and let's not forget that the people making these lists are pro players, so they do use their tanks good. And so, like I was saying, the better you support your infantry, the more you're gonna win. So the Sherman is kind of a no-brainer there. So a rather bland support tab, with no surprise at all. Alright, so that got covered, not a great support tab. You've got a large allotment of 17 pounder and 6 pounder, so make this tab quite efficient at killing enemy armor. And there you go. So why would you need heavy tanks when you got 17 pounders and 6 pounders? You use these a lot. You protect them from as much as you can from airplanes. Not much you can do about artillery except for counter barrage, but protect these guys and they will win you the game. Then Bofors, so that's another, we've talked about that. You've got also an handful of cheap Crusader AA. Crusader AA are good because they can follow your push. I would suggest you use them in A phase because then you can move them around wherever the enemy is playing with his planes. And then in B phase you come out with the bow force, but then again that's personal choice. You got 140 millimeter off maps, followed by large amount of mortars, 25 pounder and 114 millimeter howitzers. These howitzers are how you're going to protect your 17 pounders from enemy artillery or mortar. So they're quite cheap and they're quite efficient as well. I suggest you use them. Then the Bostons and Baltimore provide a good support, while Hurricane tank busters can take on tanks. The Hurricanes are effectively very good. They're very slow though, so make sure you got a good AA cover net to protect these guys and to make sure they come back. So the medium resilience, medium speed. It's not the greatest, but they will hit target. They will kill the target as well if you support them correctly. Boston's and Baltimore, well, these are always good to have as well. So that covers it for the 8 Indian. Now I'm not gonna do all the divisions like that, just the S tier, but let's talk about the A tier right now. So in first position here we have the 26th Guard Infantry. Why? I don't know. I'll probably put up the same list as the others and you can check it out. I know they have good tanks overall, they have good infantry. I've never seen the 26 that much played by other players, but I guess Protosszocker likes it a lot. It is a good division for sure. I'm not sure if it would be the first entry in a position, but it is what it is, right? Then we have the Poland army, not the rebels, just the regular Polish army. It is quite a good division, lots of good infantry, and as you know, there is a lot of infantry in the meta right now, so that would probably be why. And then we have the classic Tatra. Is honestly, guys, Tatra is almost undefeatable in a Maverick income, and I guess a lot of people don't play it because they never really. On paper, Tatra doesn't look that great, okay? I'll give you that. It doesn't look appealing, it doesn't look great, but it is such a good division. You guys should really try it out. Play it on Maverick, be very aggressive, and the magic will happen. Then we have the Fallschirmjägers, the 5th Gebiers. These two guys are some of the new divisions. They're very, very good. You can cheese with these guys very easily, especially the 5th Gebir, where we had one player called Yu who would just play them constantly back to back. Like, that's the only division he would play, and he got really high in the ranking doing that. There's a lot of players that do that, like that player Eagle as well, who would abuse 3rd Fallschirmjägers when they were top number 1 all the time to get up the ranking. And it is fine. I mean, it's frustrating because I remember going on the game and all I would pick at a certain time in the day, it would be Yu playing the 5th Gebiers. And it's almost impossible to defeat when you play it good. I mean, myself, I could play with 5th Gebir and I won every single match I played with them. Is it fun to keep playing it all the time just to get up in the ranking? No, it's not. I don't think so. Not for me. But anyway, all this to say, do pick these divisions. You should be winning because of their good infantry. The 4th Fallschirmjägers, obviously, you know, the Fallschirmjägers are the best there, but they also have good tools to support them. But anyway, then we have the 17 SS, always been good. We got the 3rd Fallschirmjägers. Now their infantry was nerfed 5 points, and 5 points is a big deal in Steel Division 2. Now the infantry costs 40 points, which I think is acceptable because the 3rd Fallschirmjägers are literally on this. Like, I mean, they're really good. If you played against them, you know they're good. Keep in mind this is for 1v1, obviously. But yeah, then you got Lovas, which is a new entry here. It used to be way lower down the list, but people that do play Lovas are usually good players and they can make it work because of the infantry meta again. 97 Guard is pretty good as well. Lots of off-map, annoying off-map. You got Sagan New Zealand. Good infantry, very good infantry, good to counter the Fallschirmjäger spam. Then you got 6th Airborne. It fell. 6th Airborne is a bit like the third. They fell a bit out of favor, and they got nerfed, and they're not that great right now. But they're still, if I pick six AB, then now I know I'm gonna win my games just because they're that easy to play. Then, what else do we have here? 3 VDV, one of my all-time favorite division. It's excellent. It is infantry centric. They're Soviet paratroopers basically. I know Protosszocker loves them. He doesn't like seeing them lose, and he's happy whenever he sees them win. So he puts them there in A tier. I would agree with him. 3 VDV is excellent at Vanguard and Maverick. You push hard. You need to use the only unit available in the game in 3 VDV is the smoke off map, and you need to use them in order to win with that division. Then you got 44th Guard. Ooh, lots of win here. You got 44th Guard with the constant off map. Monte Rosa, it's infantry spam at its best. And you got 1st DFL with bazooka infantry, all kind of tank you would need, and all of that stuff. And now we're getting into the B, C, and D tier. We're gonna go briefly to look at them. These division doesn't mean they're bad, even though the tier list says so. Let's not forget here that we're taking one player's opinion about these. For example, you can see in D tier we have Panzerverband Strachwitz, and this is one of my all-time best division that I played extensively and racked up a lot of wins. There's in the C tier you can see Group Artenek, and that's another one where I beat people like Unord, P. Yuri Tanner, a lot of good people I've beaten with Archneck, whereas I wouldn't stand a chance against them. Sorry if you hear my dog. Like I said, I'm filming this in the forest, and we're in the high grass right now. But yeah, anyway, so a lot of these divisions could be good. They're fun to play, especially for veterans alike. 16 Panzer is one division I have fun playing. I know Quattro U also plays a lot, and so keep these division with a grain of salt. Don't necessarily go for them. If you're new, if you're a new player, I would totally not recommend you playing them. And instead go for A or S tier for sure. But C tier, the one I agree a whole lot with is Gross Deutschland. These guys sucks. Really, they do sucks. They're not good. They kind of look cool on paper, and the division itself is a cool one because it's been made popular, especially by the book The Forgotten Soldier by Guy Sager, a French person that enrolled into the army, volunteered because his father was in that division. And well, anyway, this is not a book review, but that division is pretty popular amongst people who enjoyed the Eastern Front. But they do suck in Steel Division 2, and they shouldn't. They should be a good division because they were in the real war, but they're not good in here. There's one that I can't agree with. It's the 1st Fallschirmjägers. I do not agree with that choice at all. They are very good. 16 Panzer, I have a lot of fun with them. I think they're good. Armia Krajowa, also the Poland one. These are pretty good. In B tier, I kind of agree with all of these except maybe the South African, the 25th Panzer Grenadier. I think Toulon should be a little bit higher up the list in A tier. I don't think 21st Panzer should be in B tier, but they are pretty good. And the thing with 16 and 21st is that you have to make use of the Focke-Wulf a lot in order to make good use of them in phase A. Same thing with the 12th SS. Well, I mean, not the same thing because I'm not talking about airplanes, but you should use veterancy with them. They can be very good. It's 21st Panzer, 16th Panzer, 12 SS. These big armor division of the German, they can be good, but in the hands of good players. Well, anyway, everyone, I hope you've enjoyed this tier list. I've got another one that's gonna come soon, and if you have any questions, just post them below. I'll try to answer my best. Or I know Protosszocker does watch my videos, so maybe he'll be able to answer himself. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you did. It does help the channel. Have a nice day.